What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen the titles went out. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. It's pretty sad. It's a pretty sad situation on what's going down. I honestly wouldn't be surprised, me personally. If y'all don't know, President Trump is, I truly believe that's the only way that would help. I'm not gonna say that it completely stop, which I've seen it. We've talked about it. We've seen it where in just seen it in Washington D.C. You've seen it in different places of the National Guard being there and literally getting things together. And it's definitely amazing of President Trump doing it. Literally have though 46 people shot, 8 unalived. And Mayor Brandon Johnson refuses Trump's help, which is definitely pretty sad. Check this out, y'all.
Another violent holiday weekend in Chicago. At least 7 people were killed and dozens more hurt around the city. And now President Trump is offering to help curb the violence. Will they take him up on it? Mike Tobin live in Chicago with more. Hi, Mike.
And Dana, summer's just getting started. We're already off to the races with bloodshed here in Chicago. Friday night, a Juneteenth celebration. A red SUV pulled up to this celebration that was happening on the south side in an area known as Princeton Park. Inside the SUV, 2 gunmen opened fire. It's not clear who their target was, but in a hail of gunfire, 13 people were shot. The ages of the victims range from 17 to 47 years old. Despite some people getting hit multiple times, there were no deaths. One of the victims was admitted to University of Chicago Hospital in critical condition. Now, Mayor Johnson put out a post. What should have been a night of celebration and community reflection for Juneteenth was shattered by a horrific act of violence. Thoughts and prayers.
But my thing is, y'all don't know what's crazy about this whole thing. Somebody had posted and said something. What bothers me about this, somebody put out a whole thing saying, "Oh, they released that Carmelo Anthony video, and it was on Juneteenth." Why they're so pressed about obviously, since we want to bring in race with it, a black young man that did something so crazy, and they praising him and supporting him, and this, that, and the other. But my thing is, they haven't said much or anything about what's going on in Chicago and the places that surround them. That's what I have a problem with during Juneteenth weekend or Juneteenth. It's definitely sickening and definitely sad that people are constantly going through this mess with having, especially, Brandon Johnson, and y'all already know who I ain't even gonna lie. I don't even want to say, the wrong name. I'm just say, but
by this being,
y'all know who I'm talking about.
In a community where Juneteenth is observed, I think that it does a disservice to the community and what Juneteenth is supposed to stand for.
It's hurtful because of this holiday and how many people lives were given for this holiday to exist. To see lives taken this way, to see this happening.
Year to date in Chicago, murders are up 8% from the same time last year. Shooting incidents are up 6%. President Trump posted on Truth Social a familiar message. He says if Governor...
And I'm going to be going over that post. Before we listen to that post, I want to show y'all this video. This is a mother demanding, and this is, I'm not going to lie. Prayers, and I'm not saying this is just her. I'm not gonna lie, this lady is creeping me out with her eyes and her mouth like that. I'm not gonna lie. Amazing smile. It's just it's everything that comes, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know. I've been on this whole scary type, I don't know. But anyways, when I tell y'all that what bothers me so much when it comes down, when it comes down to the black community, especially in Chicago, what makes me irritated about it, and I'm not saying, this mother, because this is a daughter. I don't know how old her daughter is. I don't know what her daughter, did in this case. So I'm not directly speaking, I want to just, put that out there. But what bothers me a lot of times is that it shouldn't take for something to happen to your child or a loved one for you to speak up and say something when you seeing what's going on around you. And I'm not putting that whole blame on there. I'm just speaking as the community. So you literally have people that will take, again, and I'll say this because it's a perfect example of Carmelo Anthony, and because this is a black guy, versus a white guy, and a black family versus a white family, they have something to say. But they never have something to say, when it's this black on black crime, whether if it's in Chicago or wherever. That's what I have a problem with. Then on top of that, people don't sit there and they protest. They don't get on here and talk about this. They don't do none of that. They don't do none of that. But let something happen to a loved one. I want to put that out there that it shouldn't take that. It shouldn't take that at all. I'm so sorry, y'all, if y'all heard that. My daughter's literally behind me sleeping, so I'm not trying to be too loud. But when I say that it truly, truly gets bad, it truly, truly gets bad to where they act like they truly just don't care. Check it out here, y'all.
In Chicago, promising he could fix it, quote, fast and permanently. As America celebrated Father's Day weekend, dozens were shot in the city, and 41 shootings have been reported in the past week alone. So far in Chicago this year, there have been 198 murders. That is up 9% from a year ago.
Wow.
And 647 shootings, which is up 5%. Yet Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson continue to push back against the president's offer to help.
This is the same president that did not know that the Strait of Hormuz could be closed, shuttered essentially by Iran if he went to war with Iran. I don't think that we should be listening to this president about promises that he makes or that he has any idea how to protect us in the state of Illinois.
The president of the United States of America has done nothing to help secure safe communities across this country. He's done nothing to do that.
Our next guest has been pleading for help to tackle gun violence since her 18-year-old daughter, Jaya Beeman, was murdered when she stopped at the store for snacks after a day at the aquarium. Jaya's mother, Naisha Beeman, founded the Jaya Beeman Foundation in her honor and joins me now. Naisha, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we want to start off by saying we are so sorry for the loss of your beautiful daughter. And when it comes to crime in Chicago, you just saw the president offer to help make Chicago safer through federal intervention. And that did not go over well with the governor of Illinois, the mayor of Chicago. What is your reaction to President Trump's offer to help and their rejection of it?
I think help is needed. We can use multiple agencies, FBI, ATF, DEA, U.S. Attorney to help with the gun violence in Chicago, because there is not a sense of urgency. They're not afraid. They're not afraid of going to jail because crimes are not getting solved. People are getting off. They're letting, so I think the help is needed.
And that has been like that everywhere. Like here in Indianapolis, a lot of people, go and say that, that you hear people say all the time, oh, well, it ain't getting solved. These crimes ain't out here getting solved. Take this, and they're learning to try their best to beat the system when it comes down to it. I feel like it does take more than just, these police departments. It takes way more than that, me personally. And that's just, how I feel when it comes down to it, is that you truly need more to that. And looking into this, you have so many people and so many individuals that just they don't care, and they don't care where these bullets are going at all. And it's truly sad.
It was August of 2025, so August of last year, when Governor Pritzker said, we've been fighting crime, we've been trying to prevent crime, and it's been working. But if you look at the numbers, it's just not true, because the murder rate is up by 9% this year. Naisha, can you describe what it's like in Chicago right now when it comes to violence, gun violence, and also teen takeovers?
So, when you can't sit in your car, I want to sit in my car to, decompress before I go in after my day at work with my kids, but I'm scared. It's always shootings, people getting shot while they're in their cars. people getting robbed, and then you just can't sit in your car anymore. So you just have to go straight in the house. He can say that the violence is down because the way they measure it, by Chicago being a large city, they measure it, per 100,000 residents, but it still does not stop the fact that this is a serious gun violence issue here in Chicago.
Yeah, and when we talked a little bit about what happened to your daughter, she spent the day at the aquarium. She was at a store, and then she was killed. Can you give us any more details on what happened to your beautiful daughter?
That's a difference. That's why I said I don't want it to make it seem like I'm just speaking about this mother. I just did this because of the topic in general, that I've seen so many different cases of so many people that only speak out when it's I feel like you can't sit here and act a certain way, in a case of, oh, this black boy did this to this this white boy, and then you go, and this all the example of why I put this video out, because it's very important for you to take something so serious. Because I've been seeing a lot of black folks post about Carmelo Anthony and being on this side. I literally had to explain to my brother and my sister about that whole situation because they don't know. A lot of people see a lot of things on the internet. And my brother, the first thing he said when I got to give him information, oh, well, I can't believe all the AI stuff on there, because that AI stuff on there, they showing me this and they showing me that and this. And you truly, truly see exactly on what's going on. People are not getting that information. They're seeing posts. They're seeing lies, and that's what I don't like. And you got people that's protesting, saying this, saying that when it comes down to that stuff, but you have nobody protesting, you have nobody speaking out and doing what's right when it comes down for the black community, because they don't care. And it's truly sickening. You see how bad it has gotten. It's sad. Truly sad.
Right there, we're looking at her picture right now.
Yeah, she just left the aquarium and walked in the store. 3 gunmen just opened up the door. They didn't even look in the store. They didn't even look at who was in there. They just shot blindly in the store. And she was 5 others was shot, 5 was shot, and she was one that was murdered.
And for anybody that gets talking crazy, that is not my smoke detector.
And it does beg the question, Aisha, as a politician elected to keep people safe, why would you reject an offer for help when the city so clearly needs it?
I don't know if it's like they try not, piss and match for the lack of better words. But I think help is needed. There's so many parents hearing, their cases in discovery, because everything has to go to the FBI lab, and it's so overwhelmed. I think more resources need to be put into advanced forensic science so we can solve more crimes, so they can be more afraid of going to jail, or they know nothing is happening. They know they can send a 15-year-old to do a crime and everything is going to be okay. They're going to get away with it.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us this morning.
But then again, I look at the simple fact that, they don't care if they have to go to jail. That's why they do the stuff they do. They think they have that mentality that, okay, they ain't gonna catch me, or okay, if I get caught, then I'm not. They have the mentality that they don't care. They don't care about nothing. And it's so much more. I feel like it's so much more. I'm not about to sit here, because I've said it before. I can't sit here and be like, this is the music that's doing it. These are the content creators that's doing it. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. The content creators, people that they seeing, on TikTok, this, that, and the other, they got motion. They got motion on what they're doing, on what they have, and the things they're doing. It's more so of they see something that's on the internet, rather than what it is. They seeing these different type of weapons, and everybody want to be big and bad. And so, and I'm not saying that it's not just to me, because it's a lot of other things just than the music. I'm not gonna lie. It's more so of the lifestyle that they love. Everybody want to. It's people. These young kids don't have respect. They have no respect. You have some that do, but you have a lot of kids that do not have respect whatsoever, and they act like they just completely don't care about nobody and nothing. I remember back then, you had a little dude that'll walk up, rather he 14, 15, 16, 17, and he knows not to disrespect, an elder, whether if he's a 20-year-old, 25, 30, 35. They know not to do that because you give their respect. Now, you have a 13-year-old talk to you crazy. They don't care about nothing. I'm telling y'all. And it's truly sickening. Here is the post of President Trump. Said lots of unaliving going on in Chicago. 22 people shot, at least 4 passed away, which we've seen that it is more. Why isn't Governor Pritzker calling me for help? I could make Chicago a safe city in 1 month, in 1 year. It would be one of the safest. D.C. went from being the worst to one of the safest cities in the United States. President DJT. So it literally just goes to show you on just how bad things are. The mayor, even him, and the governor, knowing that on how much violence it is and that percentage going up, they should have known that this celebration and that these parks and this, that, and the other, that's something that they don't need to be worried about. They don't need to be using the excuse, this to get the black community together and this, that, and the other. The black community don't care. They don't care. I feel like that's over with. Like all this, let's have this and let's bring the black. Like y'all got all that is over with. All that's over with. Truly. Because these are the things that tend to constantly happen. And it's truly sickening. Truly sickening. There's more that need to be done. President Trump definitely needs to send the National Guard. And Brandon Johnson and Pritzker, they need to listen. They need to listen. Because it's definitely important to make those things happen. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all, stay tuned for the next video dropping tonight. Catch y'all next one.